And welcome back to Bucky here, where last time we left off we were able to put the crew together, and then promptly got captured again by the Toads. So now we're in the prison cell, and the prison cell is a much tougher stage than any of the other ones. At least the ones we faced so far. And you know, things are definitely getting serious when this kind of music is playing. So what we gotta do is just make our way across. And the hazards are going to be much bigger in this stage. There are definitely going to be a lot more hazards. As well as a lot of tricky jumps we got to make. Or in this case, just do it the easy way, why not? So let's see, the tricky part about this stage is that there are a lot more spikes to deal with. There are also a lot tougher jumps, and also the enemies aren't so bad, it's just getting past all the hazards that's the problem. Also, when they're in conjunction with the hazards. Yeah, we can't do anything about that guy, so let's just go ahead and bypass him. And by the way, there are also going to be trap blocks, so let's just go ahead and glide over them. Otherwise, we would have had to repeat that section, and that would have been kind of lame. Let's see, with my recording, I mean, unfortunately, I had a test I had to study for, so... Well, that's why you didn't see any videos for the past however long. Yeah, unfortunately, studying for that stuff kind of screws up my recording schedule, but unfortunately, that's just the things that happen. And also, I think something was wrong with my voice yesterday, otherwise I would have recorded then. But, I mean, we just might as well get this done while we can. And it was also brought up in one of the discussion topics in the Let's Play corner as to when you can make a schedule. I mean, that is something I should do a better job with. But we got to our first captive, and that's going to be Jenny. And she gets possessed by the air marshal. And by the way, the marshal can still hurt you when he flies by. So that's why I'm just staying back. And out of all the prisoners, Jenny's actually the toughest one just because, she has that ball attack that is going to be very handy when it comes to destroying bosses, but we're not going to be able to use that just yet. So instead, what I'm doing is just staying back with Blinky and then just switching between the two. Just because Blinky's going to be the one doing most of the damage to her. I also do like that ball fades away after a while. I mean, it's just easier on me, that's all. So let's see, yeah, Jenny's probably the toughest boss just because she has the trickiest terrain to work with. And also, there's just a lot more things going on. So instead, all we're doing is just blasting her. I mean, fortunately, once you get the pattern down, it's not really that tough. It's just being patient enough to not force the fight. Because, of course, since touching you does more damage than anything else, we gotta deal with that. But with that said, we freed her from the spell. Or hypnotic beam as they call it. And now we get to use Jenny for the first time in this game. And see, what she has is this laser that goes pretty fast, and she also has this special ability that she showed off in the boss fight. And that's going to be really useful for destroying the next boss, but let's see, right now we don't really have to worry about bosses being too big of a problem. Instead, we got to worry about sections like this where we got to make jumps over spikes. So let's see, let's just go ahead and do this. This first one really isn't too tricky, it's just a matter of just getting used to the hazards. And then there's this. Let's just go ahead and grab this. Just because extra lives are always useful in this place. Especially this next part where I'm probably going to end up getting killed a few times, just because there's some really picky timing with this one jump, and unfortunately, since this is a Let's Play, I'm probably going to end up screwing it up at least more than once. But see, this is where the game starts tricking you as to where to go. Turns out what we gotta do is go back this way. Otherwise, we would have had to repeat this section. But instead, we will find Willy here. Let's just clear this out. And I'm gonna switch to Jenny and just pick him off from far. And this is a pretty easy terrain to deal with, unlike Jenny's fight, where we had to deal with just her jumping around. Instead, Willy just walks around and occasionally jumps, but either way, this is probably the easiest one out of the three. I mean, Deadeye's might be a little bit easier just because you have Willy to do more damage, but I think outside of that, this part really isn't too tough. It's just a matter of being more patient with the game, as opposed to trying to force things, because if you try and be reckless in this game, and I think you guys have already figured this out, but if you guys try and be reckless with this game, then you're just gonna find yourself getting killed over and over again. I mean, that's as common with games like this and Mega Man and probably Contra too. Okay, this is the section where I'm probably gonna get killed a lot, but let's just see what we do here. So let's see, what I gotta do is go to that green one. And jump. Okay, yeah, the timing on that thing is really picky, so at least I was able to get that one. Now I'm just worried about this part. Especially when there's slowdown. Alright. Oh wait, I gotta switch to Bucky here. Just because there's a jump I gotta make. And like so. You know what, let's just clear this thing out now. And I jumped too high. I also like how Bucky falls. But yeah, I'll just cut until I get there. Alright, now that we're back, let's see if we can't make this. Alright, good. And just like before, we gotta break these blocks and make our way down. So this part gets a little bit tricky because we gotta blast away at these spikes without getting ourselves killed by falling rocks either. And this is gonna hit me, yep. Yeah, unfortunately I'm gonna end up taking a little bit more damage here, but unfortunately that's just the way this goes, because going to the far left or the far right is just the safest thing to do to avoid getting impaled by spikes. Because you kinda don't want to have to, unfortunately the sprite for Bucky's blaster is kinda small, so we do have to not only avoid these rocks, but have to manage these spikes too. Which is unfortunately going to be a problem. I mean, yeah, see, like that. I mean, I couldn't get over to the and shoot the one block in time. Or not the block, but the spike, but you guys get the idea. Unfortunately, because stuff like that happens when you're playing this game. Yeah, see, like I said before, I mean, this is the problem when you have a small blaster radius like Bucky's blaster, because Bucky's the only one that can shoot up. I mean, if it was anybody else, it would have been a little bit easier, but unfortunately, that is not the case. So let's just get moving here. Alright, well that actually worked out. Okay, good. So let's just go ahead and... Alright, now we got this part where we gotta avoid spikes and also these stupid toads flying at us. I'm also really banged up too, that's not a good thing. This is... Okay, good. I almost thought I ducked a little bit too early. And just go. Yeah, unfortunately my commentary is not exactly going to be riveting during this part, just because, I mean, it's just kind of hard to avoid all this stuff, especially when it is really tricky timing and really precise stuff we gotta do here. Alright, see, yeah, this section does get really harrowing. So let's just, maneuver here. Or not really maneuver, but you guys get the idea at this point. Alright, we're up to Deadeye now. And he is gonna be the last one, so... let's just trigger this already. And like I said before, I'm just gonna use Willy on him just because, Willy's blaster does a lot more damage, and we are just gonna use that to our advantage. Let's just wait for him here. And yeah, I am looking forward to finishing this game, and I was able to, get my hands on Mega Man X5 and Mega Man X6 just because I can, get to recording those pretty soon. And I am gonna post this in, Bri Wheel and also in the Let's Play corner, but I am gonna be taking, co-commentators for Mega Man X6, and I think I'd rather have 3 though. I think that should be enough. I mean, just me and 2 other people. But yeah, with that said, that is the end of the cell, and probably the longest stage in the game. So now we get a little cutscene between everybody, and now we get to figure out that we're near the salvage chute, which is going to be the next stage. And yeah, it's kind of like the, it's like, was that in Cloud City? I forget. But anyway, with all that said, I'm just going to go ahead and call the video here, so join me next time as we get over to the salvage chute and make our way to the magma tanker. See you then!